Welcome to this explainer. Okay, so if you've recently moved to Portugal, or honestly, even if you've owned property here for a while, you've almost certainly experienced what we like to call the famous Portuguese winter surprise. You know exactly what I'm talking about, right? You step outside and it's beautifully sunny. But then you step inside your home and suddenly you're shivering, you're reaching for literally 3 extra layers of clothing just to survive sitting in your own living room, and you immediately notice this distinct, damp chill hanging in the air. For so many expats, this reality of freezing winters and that persistent dampness inside Portuguese homes is just a massive source of frustration. But don't worry, today we are going to unpack exactly why this happens and, more importantly, how you can permanently solve it. To really wrap our heads around the root of these issues, we're looking at some fantastic insights from Renovation Experts. They're a highly specialized local partner based right here in northern Portugal, and their entire mission is bridging the gap for international clients. Because, let's face it, expats are often totally unfamiliar with local construction quirks, language barriers, and building standards. Renovation experts are the ones actually on the ground, seeing firsthand exactly why these gorgeous homes are failing to stay warm and dry. And the best part? They provide the technical expertise to actually fix it without all the usual stress. Okay, let's dive right into this. Here is our agenda for today. 1. Cold and mold in Portugal. 2. Why heat the street. 3. Secret to proper ventilation. 4. How heat recovery works. 5. Savings and ROI calculation. And 6. Reliable solution for expats. Section 1. Cold and mold in Portugal. The expat's winter surprise. So imagine this. You've just poured your heart, your soul, and a good chunk of your budget into a stunning property renovation. The plaster is smooth, the paint is fresh, it looks amazing. But then winter rolls around, and within, say, 3 to 6 months, disaster strikes. You start seeing these dark spots forming up in the corners of your ceiling. The paint starts to stain, and that unmistakable, gross, musty smell of mold completely returns. It's incredibly disheartening, but sadly, it's also incredibly common. And the absolute biggest mistake homeowners make at this stage is treating the symptom instead of the disease. You know, you might be super tempted to just scrub the walls and repaint over that damp plaster. But guys, that is just a surface fix. You are literally just painting over trapped moisture. Because your windows stay closed during the winter, that moisture has absolutely nowhere to go. The real fix here is addressing the root cause, which means implementing controlled ventilation to deal with that moisture right at its source. That's how you get stable, completely mold-free walls. Section 2. Why heat the street? Stop wasting your energy. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is understanding where our money is actually going. You buy these expensive electric heaters, you leave them blasting all day, your electricity bill absolutely skyrockets, and yet, the second you step away from the heater, the room feels like an icebox again. Why on earth does this happen? Well, it's because you aren't actually heating your house. You're heating your heat losses. The sheer volume of energy just slipping through your fingers is staggering. Look at this. Up to 40% of your heat escapes right through poorly installed windows or drafty old frames. Another 30% goes straight up and out through an uninsulated or poorly ventilated roof. And the remaining 30%, that just bleeds right out through uninsulated walls and random air leaks. If your house is essentially a leaky bucket, buying a bigger heater doesn't fix the hole, right? Let's contrast the typical reaction we have with the actual effective solution. The typical reaction is, frankly, panic. We just buy more heaters, and the result? Astronomical energy bills and rooms that are somehow still drafty and cold. The actual solution requires taking a step back and fixing the building envelope, meaning your home's outer shell. This means ensuring airtight window installations, improving your roof insulation, and actively controlling your airflow. When you actually do this, you get beautiful, stable indoor temperatures and a dramatically lower energy bill. Section 3. Secret to proper ventilation. Breathing houses. Okay, so once you fix that outer shell with airtight windows to stop the heat from escaping, you actually create a brand new problem if you aren't careful. A house is a system, and it literally needs to breathe. Renovation experts see the exact same critical mistakes over and over again in modern Portuguese renovations. People will install brand new, top-of-the-line windows, but they're fixed into the wall using only expanding foam, with zero external waterproof tape or internal vapor barriers. Or maybe a roof is replaced, but they skip the necessary 4 to 6 centimeter ventilation gap. And what happens? Well, your newly airtight house essentially becomes a terrarium. Humid indoor air from cooking, showering, or just breathing hits those cold edges, turns right into condensation, and gets trapped. And suddenly, your incredibly expensive new wood parquet floors are absorbing all that ambient humidity and swelling up like giant sponges. It's a nightmare. Section 4. how heat recovery works, the magic mechanism. So you absolutely need to ventilate. But if you just crack open a window in the middle of January, you're letting all your expensive heat right out the window. So what's the solution here? It's understanding exactly what smart heat recovery ventilation, or HRV, actually does. So the crucial point is that HRV is a brilliant decentralized system. That means it operates room by room without needing those massive, ugly central air ducts. Imagine a high-tech tube installed right through your wall. Inside this tube is a copper heat exchanger. The system constantly pulls the damp, stale CO2-heavy air from inside your home and pushes it outside. And here's the genius part. As that warm indoor air passes through the copper core, it leaves its heat behind. Simultaneously, the system pulls in fresh, freezing air from outside. As that cold air passes over the warmed copper core, it absorbs the heat. The two air streams never actually touch. It's practically magic, but the heat is completely transferred. You get fresh, purified air without losing any of your precious heat. And the smart decentralized ventilation systems provided by Renovation Experts, they take this to a whole other level. We are definitely not just talking about a basic fan stuffed in a wall. These units come with built-in Wi-Fi, allowing you to manage your home's air quality directly from a mobile app. They feature integrated CO2 sensors and automatic humidity control. Honestly, the system essentially thinks for itself. If it senses moisture levels rising, say because you're taking a long hot shower, it automatically ramps up to extract that damp air. This completely protects your walls and your health, even if you aren't even in the house to turn it on. Section 5. Savings and ROI calculation. An investment, not a cost. Now let's talk about the financial side of things, because this is huge. It's so easy to look at home upgrades as just another annoying expense, but when it comes to proper ventilation and heat recovery, you really have to shift your mindset. This is an investment with a very clear, highly measurable return on investment. Let's look at this first massive number, 96%. These advanced systems are capable of retaining up to 96% of the thermal energy that would normally be completely lost if you simply opened a window to air out the room. Just think about that for a second. You are keeping almost all the heat you've already paid for while still getting a continuous supply of fresh, oxygen-rich air from outside. And because you're retaining up to 96% of your heat, you don't need to run your electric radiators or your heat pumps nearly as often or as high. And that directly translates to our next number, which is a big one, 50%. By stopping that vicious cycle of heating the street, homeowners can cut their winter heating costs by up to 50%. When you're calculating your ROI, factor in those monthly savings on your energy bill. This system literally begins paying for itself from the very moment you turn it on. And those savings, they just compound over time because of how durable this technology is. These smart units come with a 3-year warranty, sure, but they actually boast a functional lifespan of over 25 years. That is a quarter of a century of slashed heating bills, zero mold remediation costs, and total protection for your property's structural integrity. Seriously, when you factor in the money you save on repainting ruined walls, replacing swollen wood floors, and just consistently lowering your energy bills, the long-term ROI is absolutely staggering. Section 6. Reliable solution for expats, stress-free execution. Okay, knowing the solution is great, but let's be real. Getting it implemented correctly in a foreign country can be super intimidating. That is exactly why Renovation Experts have designed a completely frictionless customer journey specifically tailored for expat homeowners in Portugal. Step 1 is super simple, a technical call where they assess your specific property needs and provide a clear, no-obligation quote. Step 2 is the professional installation. And the best part, it takes just a few hours and they do it without tearing up your whole house. Finally, Step 3 makes the financial side totally effortless. They offer a flexible payment plan where you can actually split the cost into 3 equal installments with 0 interest and absolutely no hidden fees using Klarna. Ultimately, it all comes down to a choice about how you want to live in your home. So I'll leave you with this. Are you ready to stop throwing your hard-earned money out the window, literally heating the street? Are you ready to finally banish the dampness, protect your renovation investment, and just start breathing clean, warm, fresh air in the winter? If you're tired of the Portuguese winter surprise, it might be time to let the experts help you reclaim your comfort. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. And hey, here's to a warmer, healthier home.